Okay, so hopefully everyone can see my screen okay, and my audio is decent. As Conan introduced, I'm the course director for the BSc Honours Personalised Medicine programme that's now in its 5th year. So we were recently rebranded in that the programme used to be known as Stratified Medicine. And Stratified Medicine is a very UK-centric term. And is a bit more abstract than personalised medicine. So people can much more easily appreciate, I think, what personalised medicine may be as opposed to stratified medicine. And the name change also reflects the global ambition, of our graduates and of our programme and of realising stratified medicine. It's not going to be the UK or Ireland alone. It's going to be a worldwide effort in order to get where we need to go. So personalised or stratified medicine is about the grouping of patients that have similar biological characteristics, so that are similar genetically or in many other ways, so they share a disease or they share environmental exposures, and it's also known as precision medicine. And what it really is a replacement for the current one-size-fits-all approach to treatment. So we know currently that many common medicines are not effective in large numbers of patients. And there are many biological reasons for that we are now able to explore in ways that we couldn't before. So what personalised medicine does is it identifies those who are at most risk of a particular disease and what treatment will work for them. But additionally, it's also looking at specific diseases, and within our centre we focus on diseases associated with ageing. So, heart disease, diabetes, dementia. And by better understanding of these diseases, we'll be able to also aid in drug discovery efforts, in addition to working against adverse drug reactions. So adverse drug reactions cost billions of pounds across the world and obviously put patients at great risk. So the whole premise of personalised medicine is to save time on the wrong drug for patients, to improve quality of life, to reduce the side effects of drugs, and also obviously the costs associated with that. But ultimately, everything is about patients. So we want people to get the right diagnosis and the right treatment at the right time. And that's very much the strapline for what personalised medicine is. So I have, this is a new test for our technology. Hopefully this will work. It's a very short animation that really describes this much more eloquently than I can. Okay, so the need for personalised medicine has been recognised the world over. So from the National Institute of Health in the US and the Federal Drug Agency and indeed European Medicines Agency, all of the worldwide governments, the Academy of Medical Science, the World Health Organization, and many research charities recognise that we need to do things better. We're all living longer on multiple medications, so chronic diseases such as diabetes and high cholesterol are prevalent, and we're living much longer. So we have to ensure that people are treated appropriately and can derive the best benefit from the drugs that they are prescribed in order to lead to optimal treatment of our population. So how do we do it? Well, most of us probably think of a biomarker or a way to stratify someone. It has to come from a blood test. So at the moment with coronavirus, we're looking at the RNA of the virus and PCR diagnostics, but it can be anything. It can be genetic, it can be a protein or a biomarker that comes from the blood, but it also could be an imaging technique. So for example, I do dementia research. We look at various imaging technologies in order to see if they can improve the reliability of a diagnosis, because at present, Alzheimer's disease, for example, is only diagnosed post-mortem definitively. There are many overlaps in diseases. So, unless we have a specific diagnosis for someone, their treatment is obviously going to be in jeopardy. So clinical imaging and non-invasive forms are also important. It may be the case that the biomarker is, living in a certain geographic location, being exposed to particular environmental toxins, having particular diet. It can be anything. So any information, and we hear a lot of talk about big data, we are able to gather more and more information about individuals and their health than ever before. And what we really need to do is to use that information to better understand and group diseases as they happen. So all of the bodies that advocate for personalised medicine recognise that education and training are essential. So there's a real urgent and growing needs for scientists that have skill sets that are relevant to personalised medicine. So traditionally, many people would have done biomedical sciences, so they will have an understanding of, disease and treatment and diagnosis, but they'll be limited in their computer programming skills and data analysis skills. And in the context of personalised medicine, it is the ability, to do computer programming, bioinformatics and biostatistics, that is where the bottleneck is. We need people who understand biology, but can also, do big data, do computer programming and bioinformatics. We also need people that can design clinical trials and design them appropriately so that the new interventions that come about because of personalised medicine strategies are effective and efficient. So as a result, research ethics and research governance are very important. We also, need the ability to build and research these patient information databases. So we're used to our healthcare records that have been so valuable for, our GPs and our hospital doctors. But there's many other sources of data that could be used as we go forward, such as wearable technology and so on. We need people that can research and develop new diagnostic tests and techniques, and we need people who can help in implementing these tests and tools. So there are many skills gaps that such courses as ours are attempting to plug. So the BSc Honours Personalised Medicine programme is the first of its kind in the UK and Ireland at an undergraduate level. So there are examples of postgraduate personalised medicine programmes, but we're the only undergraduate programme. And it was established in the Northern Ireland Centre for Stratified Medicine, which is based on the Altnagelvin site. And the programme is taught by a team of really highly research active academics and scientists, industry experts, and also hospital doctors. So because of our geographical location and our research, we obviously work very closely with the consultants within the hospital. And that gives our students a really unique blend of industrial, clinical and academic exposures, which is a great advantage. We've got a very high staff to student ratio, so our intake is approximately 27 to 30 students per year. And in terms of student satisfaction, our most recent national student survey results indicate that 100% of our students were satisfied with the programme and they found the learning interesting and engaging. So I have another short video. I really hope these are working, but it just gives you a visual of the centre itself and where we are.
So Paul, at this point, I'm just going to jump in and just let you know I don't think the sound is working in these videos. Feel free to continue let them playing and to give attendees a sense, I guess, of the facilities. But if you simply want to talk over the video or skip it, it's completely up to you.
Okay. Well, listen, I mean, these videos are available online, so maybe we can share them with the attendees after the event, because there's no point in using these. That's fine. Okay, so I'll move on. So in terms of the module study, so I've talked about the sort of interdisciplinary nature of the programme, just to give you a flavour of what those are. So in university, we have 2 semesters per year, and in each semester you're going to take 3 modules. So they're generally a mix between the disease pathology and computing mathematical methods, so that each semester you're going to have a maths or computing module, and then also the other more biomedical type modules. So in year 1, for example, we've got biochemistry and cell biology, anatomy and physiology, and mathematical methods. And then in the first semester, and then in semester 2, we go on to genetic inheritance, biocomputing, and inflammatory and immunological disease. So all of these modules are very applied. There are practical components to the wet lab based topics, and there are also computational labs associated with the computing modules, such that you're getting really hands-on experience in terms of being able to interrogate real life data sets and the skills that are needed in the area. We have an optional placement year between years 2 and 3, and we find that about 50% plus of our students take that option. And this was introduced really on the basis of our industrial liaison committee, which I'll talk a bit to later. But really our degree has the benefit of having a really engaged industrial liaison committee composed of a lot of the stakeholders and future employers of our students. And they really have driven the content of the programme based on the needs of the sector. And they've been invaluable really, and our programme was recently revalidated last year. And just the order and the way things are done have been shifted so that students going out in placement year have the full range of options for both computational and wet lab based placements, which is something to think on. So just to give a flavour of the contact hours, because I know this is important to, in people's choices, we're talking about 3.5 days, on campus for your modules. So you'll very often have, a lecture in the morning time and then an associated laboratory class in the afternoon. And then there'll be separate tutorial sessions associated with them. So, it's a relatively full timetable as far as things go. So in terms of the research team, we've got a really dynamic research team, and the centre was established by Professor Tony Bjorson there at the top. I'm obviously there, and Stephen Watterson is our associate course director, but all of our staff are very, very highly research active, and this really benefits our students. So, our disease areas are very much brought to the fore in our teaching. So it's all very relevant and cutting edge in terms of what we try to do and what we try to deliver. So the methods of teaching are some of them you'll be used to and some of them not so, but we've got our lectures, our traditional lectures, seminars, presentations, practicals, which we see is very important to sort of crystallize the learning that you have, that you can do, DNA extraction, PCR, proteomic analysis, so measuring proteins, and then in the computer side of things, that you can interrogate, sequencing data, for example. And then obviously a placement is an opportunity to further that learning in terms of employment. So in terms of locations of delivery, so we teach on the hospital site in their teaching facilities, in the Medical and Dental Education Centre. And also they have nice seminar rooms, but we also do our wet labs at the moment in Citric. So on any one day you wouldn't go between Magee Campus and Altmangalvan. you know, if you're on Galvin, you'll be there for the day, and similarly in Magee. And then within Magee Campus, Magee is a really thriving campus, and the recent newly opened teaching block and library facilities are fantastic, and vast majority of our teaching takes place there. So, you know, they've got very nice open rooms that really allow for, you know, good group work and good interaction between our peer groups. So I've touched on our Stratified Medicine Industrial Liaison Advisory Committee. And I'd say I just want to show, I suppose, the importance of the fact that we are listening to, you know, to potential employers about what skills are needed, so that, you know, our graduates are equipped for the workplace locally and internationally, and that's certainly the case that we've seen going forward. So in terms of skills upon graduation, then our students have knowledge of, you know, biomedical sciences and disease pathology, clinical treatments and management. They also have those lab skills, you know, including genetics and genomics and protein analysis, which are really fundamental in this type of research. Presentation skills and scientific writing are built throughout the programme. And in final year, everyone does a research project with a member of our staff that really allows them to, you know, do their own piece of research and to work on their scientific writing. So they'll produce a paper based on that research project. What sets our students apart, I suppose, from those who do biomedical sciences or other pure subjects is that these computer programming, bioinformatics and statistics skills that are really sought after the world over. Our students also have that. And also then students will work on things like study design, problem solving and self-confidence. So there's a lot of soft skills that are developed throughout your time at university, and these are particularly important, as well as obviously the knowledge that you acquire from the programme itself. So in terms of careers, our students have gone on to many sort of diverse pathways. So some of them have stayed in research and development. So, you know, on the basis of being exposed to academic research, there's a number of them that are undertaking PhDs, for example. Hospital and government sector, some have gone there, as well as diagnostic companies, and a number of pharmaceutical companies and contract research organisations in the sort of data side, as well as you know, drug development and so on. So there's another short video which again is available online, but it's just our student, the student Lucy Gallagher, stating her experiences on the programme. So in terms of our requirements, so at A level we require 3 Bs to include 2 science subjects. So 1 from Group A and 1 from Group B. So ideally our incoming students are going to have an IT, digital technology, physics, maths A level, and then also something from biology, chemistry, double award science, double award life and health sciences. So given the nature of the fact that we have, you know, quite a significant proportion of our programme involving maths and computing, it's a requirement really that you have one of those subjects so that you can hit the ground running. So in terms of further information, you know, we're very active on Twitter particularly, and you know, on the Ulster website we obviously have a number of pages there that you can contact us with at a later date. So open days are, I don't know, Conan, do you want to take up on this, or do you want me to?
Yeah, so our open days at the moment are still planning to go ahead until further notice. I suppose the government are about to announce their exit strategy this week, and so we'll really get a clear picture as to what timeline that'll take. But in the meantime, and until we get some definite response, we are still going ahead with our opening days. And on the next slide is the details of those. So do make every effort if they are going ahead in a physical format to attend. They really help you envisage yourself and on campus and get all the information and meet the course team that you need to do. And actually, many students who actually attend open days at Ulster end up deciding that that's where they want to go simply because of the open day and the experience that they have on that day. So do make every effort, regardless of which university you're going to attend at least one campus open day.
So I suppose in terms of any queries that you would have regarding admissions or general questions, we would encourage you very much to reach out and do that. And there are a number of students that are available to offer advice and respond to those queries available. And also then obviously there are webinars. There's a full suite of webinars that are ongoing, and we would encourage you very much to make use of those if you find them useful. So that's all I have in terms of slides here. I'm more than happy to take any questions. I can't even see myself on the screen here.
You're all right. Actually, I can feed you through the questions. So I've got one here at the minute. I've actually got a few of my own, Paula. So thanks very much for that. Someone has asked how much of the course is computers approximately?
So it's about a third sort of computing, a third sort of biomedical science, pathology, and then we've got like governance, ethics, and pathology. So there's a significant proportion of it that is computing.
Okay, and just a couple of questions from me. I suppose when I was viewing that presentation, actually something just twigged my mind, and I'm sure maybe some other attendees thought of this before I did, but is there a connection between the application of knowledge and theory taught on personalised medicine with, say, I suppose very hot and topical in the current climate, maybe, future prevention and diagnosis of COVID-19 or similar viruses, or is that a completely different area of medicine and health sciences, virology?
So no, very much so. The skill sets that that our team have would be very much part of future sort of strategies in terms of dealing with an outbreak such as this. So from a personalised medicine context, we have cohorts of individuals. So at the moment, we don't understand why some people are experiencing, the really severe effects of COVID, and others have a mild form of disease. So that is very much being built in, better understanding that is being built into the research programs that we have actively at the moment, and all of our disease areas, to look at the genetics associated with that, and also, potentially other comorbidities. So we know that people with severe asthma, for example, are more prone. So very much so, the strategies and all of the tools and techniques that are part and parcel of our program are required in order to understand the intricacies of COVID.
Great. Okay, so a few more questions have come in here, and just taking them as I see them. So somebody has said, would it be a loss if you don't study biology? Might be worth getting back up that A-level requirements page.
Okay.
I can't remember what the subject.
We have had students, biology is certainly an advantage at A-level, because a lot of the diseases and concepts are, you'll already have been exposed to them, but we have numerous students that have come in that haven't had biology, and they've coped fine. Obviously, for example, in those cases, those students had more experience in the maths and physics side of things, so they could sort of redouble their efforts and getting themselves up to speed in biology. But certainly, even at GCSE level, a lot of the disease concepts and so on are covered. It's just taking that up a level.
So yeah, it's desirable but not essential, as long as they have one from Group A and one from Group B. Yeah. So a BTEC related question here: can you apply, and maybe you might not know the answer, but can you apply with a science-based BTEC Level 3 extended diploma? I know we do accept Level 3 extended diplomas. My own sort of thinking and assumption would be yes, but I don't know if, Paul, you know if there's a specific science-based BTEC.
So we do take a number of students from BTEC. What's important there though is that there'll probably be additional queries from admissions with respect to which particular BTEC you've done and whether you're able to meet the IT, physics, maths components. So anyone certainly who's taken any maths or physics within modules at the higher level within their BTEC will have no problem. But any intricacies on that, if you contact admissions, and they'll work with myself in order to see on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, so if there's a specific BTEC that you're curious about or you're studying, our admissions team could answer that, I suppose, in black and white, but probably I would say is the answer. So another question here, Paula, is there any additional postgraduate study required for various workplace specialisms?
Okay, so this is an interesting one, and the straight answer is no. That many of our students, so 90% of our students are in full-time employment or further education after 6 months of completion of the program. I don't think lifelong learning is very much what the scenario in which we live. So absolutely you can go and get a graduate entry job at many of these companies, but that's not to say that additional training won't be necessary in order for you to progress in any particular career. So you are employable absolutely with your undergraduate degree, but depending on the route that you take, further qualifications are required, as in any career.
Mm-hmm. And just out of curiosity, as a follow-up to that, is there a master's version of the personalised medicine program? Yeah.
Yes, indeed. So we have a fully online distance learning master's program. Now we wouldn't, any of our undergraduate students, we would encourage them to progress to alternatives. So either specialise further, because the overlap is quite significant between our undergraduate and postgraduate programs. But for someone who's maybe already done an undergraduate degree and considering moving into personalised medicine, we have people from all walks of life that come into the postgrad entry.
Okay, a few more questions here, coming thick and fast. If somebody picks software system development as an A level instead of digital technology, does that count in Group A of the required subjects? That may be a question for admissions team. I don't know if you know the intricacies of that.
I'm not 100% certain, but I imagine if there's systems development in there, there's going to be quite a lot of coding and so on. So I'm sure that that would be an acceptable
subject. Yeah. So again, just get that queried with our admissions team. Yeah. The details will be on the recording. So the next question is, what jobs in the NHS do graduates go to?
So within the NHS, some of them have gone into clinical diagnostics roles, and clinician scientist training programs within the NHS. The NHS generally have recognised that their workforce needs upskilled in personalised medicine. So after the current crisis is over, we fully envisage that there will be more data analyst type roles opening up within the NHS sector as well.
Chris says or asks, I'd like to ask about how extensive the programming aspect of the course is, as I am acquainted with statistics due to my maths A level, but I have basically zero experience in programming. And how much of a detriment would this be?
Okay, so Chris, very, very few people come in with any programming whatsoever. So in terms of the revalidation of the degree program or shifting things around, we have extended the computational modules so that it's a really sort of eased in. So virtually none of our previous students have had any programming experience. So it's taught from scratch basically. So I wouldn't see that as a disadvantage at all.
Okay, and the last question so far then is, if you're on a sports scholarship, is there any discounting of required grades? So I think this might be in reference to the Talented Athletes Scholarship. in which if you're successful through the scholarship, you get a 2-grade reduction. So for example, personalised medicine, I think you said, Paula, was 3 Bs.
Yeah.
Awarded that scholarship, they'll kick off 2 of those Bs and only ask for a B and 2 Cs. In addition to that, you get like 500 quid worth of sports services, like a gym membership, etc. So yes, if that's the talented athlete scholarship, yes, they do discount the grades by 2, so it'll be a B and 2 Cs. And obviously it'll be other reductions in terms of other qualifications like BTEC or Irish Leaving Certificate. So if anybody has any more questions, do type them in. We'll be around here for another couple of minutes. I have another question, Paul, just for myself. Are there any countries worldwide where personalised medicine is growing exponentially? I'm thinking of maybe countries, I'm actually thinking Far East, and again, kind of related to coronavirus, where, they kind of just kicked its ass, really. I'm thinking South Korea, really. Are you aware of any countries, either in the EU or globally, where personalised medicine is really at the forefront of medical healthcare?
I wouldn't say a country more than a disease area. So cancer worldwide, for example, is the poster child for what personalised medicine can achieve, in that it's a condition that has really, really benefited from the approach. In terms of the benefits in Korea and so on, I think it's digital strengths and data analytics capabilities that have, put them in the position that they're in, and recognizing, contact tracing and all of those things in terms of limit and exposure that have done that. But so I think worldwide personalized medicine is being embraced, but not that some disease areas are more straightforward than others. And it's just going to be more R&D is required to realize it, for example, in diabetes and more complex conditions.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad we're leading the way in that. And somebody else has asked, how long is the course? Okay,
so the course is 3 years without, doing the optional placement year. It'll be 4 years with that optional placement year.
Okay, again, if anybody has any more questions, we'll maybe give it and stick around for another couple of minutes. If you don't have any more questions, then thanks very much for joining. I hope that is a good introduction to personalised medicine. We will send out the recording to the webinar if you want to watch it back afterwards, and I will send links to the videos that you might have missed, so you can watch those. So if you do have any more questions, feel free to type them in, and maybe we'll give it Paula another few minutes if anybody wants to hang about and ask them.
Okay, yeah, no problem.